This program is about how babies move and develop during the first year of life. You'll learn new observation skills and develop an understanding of how babies move, communicate, and learn. Videotaped from the baby's perspective, you'll see the baby's self-initiated movements as they naturally occur. Babies are subtle in their movements and communication. What is often described as baby play is actually the groundwork for amazing body-mind organization and movement development. In a supportive environment, babies become self-motivated learners. Moving effectively in their world provides the means for babies to develop their whole potential. Right from the beginning, you can see how the baby's movement is sequenced through the body in patterns. Review the tape several times and you will learn to recognize all the subtle movements described. This video will provide you with a new understanding of how babies move, how movement informs babies of who they are, and how they communicate to others. Uncurling its arms and legs, the 1-month-old is already more extended than the newborn. The baby can turn its head to both sides and lies primarily with its head resting to one side. Developing in close relationship to the Earth's pull, babies progress to shift their weight, yield, and push away from the force of gravity. Learning begins with gravity and the body, and each anti-gravity movement clarifies the baby's connection to this force. At this early stage, these self-directed explorers are already discovering how each part of their body moves, the relationship of their arms and legs to each other, and where each part is in space. Babies can feel the position of their arms with eyes closed or without looking. Mara moves her hand to touch the back of her head. Mara's eyes shift in the direction of her own touch. Babies focus on specific sensations. At this age, these sensing, feeling, animated babies are curious and interested in their own body processes and experiences. Colum receives a lot of internal and external sensation from mouthing his hand, extending and flexing his arm, the texture of the surface, and watching the movement of his hand. Successful hand-to-mouth explorations contribute to the baby's developing body awareness and is a way babies can soothe themselves. The sound captures Mara's attention. The movement of her eyes synchronized to the rhythmic sound she hears. Searching for the sound, Mara's desire is to see what she hears. Mara is preparing to turn her head in the direction of the sound. Matching what she sees with what she hears integrates her expectation with her experience. Vocalizing, turning toward and away from stimulation, are the baby's pre-verbal communication cues that express their curiosity, interest, and pleasure. Babies can support themselves for short periods of time on forearms with fisted hands. Babies can briefly maintain their head in midline. Mara has very good head and neck control, which enhances her developing visual control. The baby's eyes are beginning to converge, to work together. They contract from the periphery to pass midline, and the baby follows the toy with more awareness of the periphery. Babies wave, circle, and cycle their arms and exercise a variety of kicking patterns, which enhance their motor development. Sensing the movement of their arms and legs contributes to the baby's kinesthetic awareness, informing them where each part of their body is and how it is moving. A loud telephone ring stimulates the startle reflex. Primitive reflexes begin to disappear as they are coordinated into more voluntary control. With surprise, Mara looks at the blue figure, but it is the red figure she prefers. The baby's head-eye-hand coordination has already developed so they can actively focus, reach out, and direct their aim to contact a specific color, shape, or figure. Reaching into space with a closed hand provides more control, and Mara twirls the little red figure. The twirling figure sustains Mara's interest. At 3 months, babies are quite content to explore their world in a contained space, defined by the reach of their arms and legs. Symmetrical postures allow the baby to bring their arms across their chest, to clasp and play with their hands together. The baby's feet and legs begin to mirror their arms and hands. Colum reaches with both hands to explore his mother's face and vocalizes. In a flexed posture, Colum moves in and out of side lying. With 2 hands now, babies enjoy touching and pulling toys. With both hands, Colum grapples with the whale. With improved head control and increased spinal extension developing from the head downward, the pelvis lowers, allowing the baby to support themselves on their forearms. 3-month-old babies are more alert and aware of their environment beyond their immediate body space. Mara smiles at her grandmother across the room. Babies are beginning to tuck their chin and maintain their head in midline. Tucking her chin enables Mara to look down at her knees. Holding her hands and feet, Mara's mother names the parts of her body that Mara is exploring.
Here is Mara's belly button, round and round it goes.
Reaching with both hands together and tucking their chin to maintain their head in midline enhance the baby's social interactions. The 4-month-old can fully extend their spine, reach with their hands away from their body, and extend their legs into space. The baby alternately swims on its belly and pushes up on their hands, beginning to extend their elbows. Babies can clasp their hands together and look down at their hands. Babies can briefly bring both hands under their chin, supported on their elbows. Active head flexion and hand-to-hand interactions are part of the baby's midline development. Babies scratch surfaces to activate the muscles of the hands, preparing them for functional grasping skills. While playing, Mara makes a clicking sound in her mouth that causes her to smile at herself. Is it the sensation in her mouth or the sound she hears? Perhaps it is both sensations and the fact that she did it that delights her. In self-motivated play, babies begin and end their own play episodes. Mara actively focuses on the yellow link. Pre-shaping her hand actions requires Mara's conscious attention. Mara uses 3 grasps to get the color she wants. Mastery of movement at each stage of development allow babies to focus on their activity, creating the possibility for more advanced function. Mara has her eye on the color she wants and smiles. She clasps the yellow link between her 4th and 5th fingers. Purposeful grasp of a toy occurs before voluntary release. Mara uses a pulling action to release the chain. Mara brings her arm in closer to her body. With concentrated attention, Mara practices pre-shaping her thumb and index finger and clasps one end of the link. Reaching with her mouth, Mara grasps the middle of the link. Mara holds the link in one hand and her mouth. Without looking, Mara can grasp the link with her other hand. With 3 grasps, Mara successfully holds the link with both hands and her mouth. With bright eyes, Mara looks up to share her mastery. Babies can raise their knees higher and maintain an anti-gravity posture of their legs. They can reach down and hold their knees with both hands, developing their body awareness. 4-month-old babies shift their weight sideways to support themselves on one arm, freeing the other hand for reaching. Developing head and trunk control in this position often leads to the baby overreaching in early weight shift. Mara is moved to the actions described in the song her mother sings. Lateral head righting brings the baby's head and torso to the vertical position and mouth to the horizontal position in relationship to gravity. We are going to follow a baby group with Mara, Gabrielle, and James. James is watching the other babies with curiosity and interest. Gabrielle rolls in a sequential pattern. At 5 months, babies keep arms and legs together when rolling from their back to their side. Lying on their side is a more dynamic and challenging position for the baby. The 5-month-old begins to separate its arms from its legs and the legs from each other, preparing for new body coordinations. Babies are beginning to lift and laterally right their heads against gravity. While playing inside lying, a variety of postures can occur. Babies can reach and bring their feet to hands and feet to mouth, continuing their tactile body explorations. Overcoming gravity, babies can extend their elbows and knees and hold on to their feet without rolling. Babies can cross their midline to play with 2 hands on 1 foot. Prone is a functional play position for the active 5-month-old. In this position, babies can support themselves on their hands and extend their elbows, release their arms, and support themselves on forearms, shifting their weight to each side. They can alternate between these positions and the swimming posture. Babies enjoy practicing this swimming activity, alternately extending and flexing their elbows and knees in space. Rocking on their bellies is essential to developing muscles for rolling over, standing up, and walking. James is developing strength in relationship to gravity. He moves his whole body by pushing with both hands. James can lift his whole body up off the ground and support himself on all 4 limbs with open hands and extended elbows. In prone, the 5-month-old baby practices a variety of weight shift patterns, first initiated in the upper limbs and progressing down to the lower limbs. A dramatic development for the baby is to visually reach out toward their goals. Babies now progress from the frog leg posture to practice a new reaching pattern. The push of the foot supports the baby's reach of their hand on the same side of the body. Gabrielle flings a toy giraffe down to the floor and successfully grasps and picks it up. Gabrielle can hold this soft, lightweight toy easily in her hand. Early throwing is seen as a flinging movement to release toys. When adults play at the baby's level, they can coordinate their participation with the baby's play intentions. Learning begins with gravity and the body. In a contained space, babies are able to move in a variety of postures. Babies explore extending and flexing their whole body, as well as each part of their body, which contributes to their developing body awareness. Babies can fly like an airplane, extending their whole body with arms and legs reaching into space. Full extension of the spine is necessary for developing muscles used for rolling over, standing up, and walking. Mastery of rolling from their back to belly is the 6-month-old's first locomotion pattern and strategy to change its position and place, ready to explore their environment. Column is mouthing a basket. Mouthing toys is an essential part of babies' play. With their mouth, babies reach, grasp, release, and measure. Mouthing also teaches babies about taste, texture, and shape of toys and objects. Tucked toes, flexed ankles, and pushing with feet prepare babies for push-off in belly crawling. Alternating flexing and extending their legs prepare babies for locomotion patterns in crawling, creeping, climbing, and walking. Covering more space, babies can pivot on their bellies in a whole circle without rolling. Increasing the momentum of his arm allows Column to release his grip so the basket rolls across the floor. Column does not depend on vision to set up an action plan. Without looking at what he is doing, Column reaches with his hand to one side and rolls the basket beyond his reach. When babies create their own action plans, they discover new movement skills that expand their present movement repertoire and enhance their learning experience. Looking at the doll between her hands, the little red foot catches Mara's eye. She shapes her hand and grasps the doll's foot. Mara notices the doll's hand. She grabs the doll's hair, which provides abundant stimulation to her hands. Without looking, Mara grasps the doll's hand. When the toy is the right size and shape for firm grasping, the baby can practice many large dynamic actions, banging, shaking, and swinging toys. Making an impact on their environment is a thrilling experience. The baby's senses are keen and energized. Pushing and slapping the floor with the palm of their hands provides the baby with the necessary tactile input to support their body on their hands. James pushes forward with both hands together and his body slides back. The symmetrical push patterns energize and strengthen the body in relationship to gravity. James is fully grounded in his intent. We can see it in his movement and hear it in the power of his voice. The baby progresses through a sequence of developmental movement patterns which integrate their whole body. Integrated spinal movements are essential for successful coordination between their arms and legs in these patterns. When placed in sitting, James can maintain sitting with good stability in the ring position. James uses one hand for balance as he kicks his legs and vigorously waves and flings the doll about. Transferring the doll from hand to hand, James loses his balance. Babies are developing protective responses for when they fall back to the ground. James' equilibrium responses are not fully developed in sitting yet. His loss of balance stimulates his righting responses. James cannot return to sitting from the prone position. Babies develop independent sitting when they can move in and out of the sitting posture by themselves. The 7-month-old baby's desire is to move forward and up. Rapid repetitive rocking stimulates many body systems and often precedes belly crawling. This is an eventful day for Nels. He comes to sitting by himself and shares his mastery by smiling. Body coordination challenges the baby's balance when they try to reverse the movement sequence to move back onto hands and knees. Independent sitting opens up a whole new world for the baby, freeing their arms and hands. Bringing their hands together in front of the body, babies can now develop gross and fine motor skills. Mara is pulling the bee's wings and investigating the bee's antenna. A change of level and a new locomotion pattern reorganizes the baby's perceptual experience and body coordination. When the baby reaches one hand forward, the opposite leg moves forward. The baby begins creeping through space in a contralateral pattern on hands and knees. Already at Mara's level, her mother is ready to join in Mara's chase and catch game. This increases the speed of Mara's creeping. The baby's body confidence is enhanced when all parts of their body move in rhythmic coordination. Babies will often assume the side-lying position for play or to look at someone or something interesting. Moving from her side to hands and knees, Gabrielle has more control in creeping and can pause, look around, and resume creeping. Novel situations in the environment activate many spontaneous responses. Babies can make subtle movements in their hands and feet to adjust their posture or secure a toy. When the beads brush Gabrielle's hand, she pulls her hand away in a protective response and waits before placing her hand on the floor again. Pulling up to kneeling, Mara adapts to a new center of gravity. Overreaching with her knee, she quickly makes subtle knee adjustments to bring her legs under her. With her hands, she measures to and from the floor, organizing her space to encompass a new change of level and new perspective of her environment. At 8 months, babies push up into bear standing and support their whole body on their hands and feet. In peer play, we not only see the baby's motor development, but also their expressive communication. In early catching, Mara gets the ball. She reaches with her mouth for the ball on the floor and brings the ball up to her mouth. Using a variety of sitting postures, Mara illustrates her balance and mobility. Mara releases the ball against the floor, and the ball rolls over to Gabrielle. Mara can't clap her hands yet, but shows her delight by flapping her arms. Gabrielle picks up a little boat. 8-month-old babies can rotate their forearms so they can look at the top, side, and bottom of a toy. Depending on the position of her arm, Gabrielle releases the boat in a variety of ways. Mara watches Gabrielle attentively. Notice Mara's effortless body alignment in her sitting. Her quiet composure and attention express her curiosity and interest in what Gabrielle is doing. Widening her arms, Mara gets Gabrielle's attention. Both babies have the skills to grasp, hold, rotate, and release toys. In close proximity, Mara and Gabrielle skillfully maneuver their arms in and out of shaped body spaces, learning how to interact successfully with each other. When babies are on hands and knees, these self-directed explorers move through space, learning to go where they want and get what they want. Gabrielle has more experience in standing. Mara and Gabrielle grasp hands. Mara ventures to pull herself up to a new level. Gabrielle uses rhythmic vocalizing, banging, and pulling to communicate her encouragement. Mara comes to standing, but is not too balanced on her feet yet. Mara uses both feet together to come to stand. Wobbling on her toes, Mara is beginning to stand on her whole foot. Gabrielle supports herself on one foot and pushes down on the step with her hands. Gabrielle makes subtle adjustments in her feet as she anticipates changes in her posture. Reaching down to pick up a toy is a challenge, and Gabrielle counterbalances her arm movement with extension of her opposite leg, positioning her foot for control and stability. Responsive feet, flexed ankles and toes are precursors for push-off in independent walking. At 9 months, rhythm patterns are more apparent in the baby's vocalizing, body movement, and communication. Mara lowers herself to the floor and creeps in a quicker rhythm. In the background, Mara stamps her foot to regain her balance and widens her base of support. Babies are beginning to extend their knees instead of pulling up with their hands. Increased spinal rotation allows Gabrielle to turn around to scan the environment. Hands and feet move in synchrony as Gabrielle rhythmically combines walking hands with sidestepping. Babies lean against a support when using 2 hands for play. In play, babies practice their gross and fine motor skills. In social interaction, babies continue to illustrate how they communicate before words. 9-month-olds can maintain a firm grip. James' precise motor control in tapping the cup facilitates active social interaction. James can now transition from sitting to get what he wants. James matches Gabrielle's rhythm. Mara quickly slips her hand into an open basket and grasps the ladybug. James' attention is on the bug. Both Gabrielle and James reach for the soft toy. Gabrielle watches James investigate the ladybug. Using a variety of sitting postures indicates the baby's progress in motor development. Gabrielle shakes the bug vigorously and vocalizes. Mara also shakes the bug and makes sounds. Mara wants the ribbon and she tries to offer Gabrielle the bug, but Gabrielle is still playing with the ribbon. Gabrielle is more interested in Mara and moves to touch her foot and her face. 9-month-olds can now clap their hands, and Mara shows her delight at this contact. Gaining in independence, 9-month-olds cover longer distances, exploring more places in the environment. In a new locomotion pattern, Mara bear walks through the grass to watch Gabrielle. Babies can now hold a toy in each hand. Mara climbs a hilly terrain to join Gabrielle and James. Arm and hand coordination are made up of a variety of gross and fine motor skills, preparing the baby for future functional skills. With a toy in each hand, babies can bang 2 toys together. Preference for overhand throwing develops from early flinging toys, seen in Gabrielle at 5 months. Babies pull and tug to practice maintaining a strong grip. Gabrielle opens and closes her hand looking at a leaf. Coordinating both hands, James holds the leaf in one hand and refines his motor skills in a pincer grasp to pick up the leaf. Gabrielle points to James' hand. James understands this communication and he drops the leaf. Gabrielle picks up the leaf. Pointing is not only a functional skill, but also a communication skill. Both babies want the blue ball. Gabrielle places her index finger on the ball, holding the ball with this contact. Focused on the blue ball, James throws the red ball in the same direction, capturing Gabrielle's attention. Before words, babies use gestures to communicate and action plans to get what they want. At 10 months, babies can combine and link actions, movement patterns, and babbling into longer sequences. Babies integrate stability with mobility. When they progress to use a variety of sitting positions, they can transition in and out of. With increased leg mobility and coordination, Gabrielle turns her body around toward her focus of interest. The 10-month-old can maintain independent standing. Mara challenges her loss of balance and makes a game out of it. She yields to gravity, falling for the fun of it. Practicing falling prepares babies for balancing on 2 feet in standing. Babies still need support to stand. A stream of mouth-stimulating activity begins. Mara takes turns in a vocal call and response game. Mara finely coordinates vocalizing with expressive hand movements. Babies babble in longer sequences, stringing vowels and consonants together. Mara picks up a toy using a pincer grasp. James pinches the bear's nose and points to the tag on the tail of the bear. Babies use more mature pincer or pinching grasps, which activate more thumb control. Before words, babies express their feelings and needs through movement. An event in the environment stimulates a strong reaction from James, and his full movement repertoire automatically comes into play. In a continuous spiraling motion, James changes his body support, facing different directions and linking several movement patterns together. A baby with a more extensive movement vocabulary is able to communicate their feelings or needs more effectively in this preverbal stage. The 10-month-old is gaining in perceptual sophistication. If you are behind a baby and attract their attention, they will turn around. They also look behind before moving backwards. Reaching with both feet together is frequently seen when sliding off a sofa, bed, or someone's lap, or in climbing downstairs. Colum looks into the empty container, and then he looks for an object to drop into it. Babies are now developing the concept of in and out while engaging in container play. Colum looks for a similar object. He holds 2 objects in one hand and transfers them to the other hand. Colum performs several actions at the same time. Using an underhand grip, Colum maneuvers the right end to his mouth. Colum blows into the recorder and taps the recorder with the drumstick. Mara sees the ball and she is ready to get it. Without turning around, James figures out the ball play and smiles. Mara hides behind the ball. Crossing her midline, Mara looks on either side of the ball playing peekaboo. Babies are playing with the concept of hide and seek, or hiding and being seen. Pointing is frequently seen by babies at 11 months. Standing requires integrating all the body's movements, sensations, and interactions with gravity to balance on 2 feet. Gabrielle points across extended space with one hand and orients her other hand to point and touch the ball next to her. Creating relationships between here and there organizes the baby's sense of space. Gabrielle sways this way and that, her body responding to a new center of gravity. Just a loss of balance. Falling is part of the dance. Holding on to a support with one hand, Gabrielle has progressed from sidestepping to one-hand support in forward walking. With a toy in each hand, a natural response for babies at this age is to still reach for another toy, even if it is the same kind. Gabrielle reaches with both hands together, expressing her intention to get what she wants. Gabrielle is reaching in two directions, with opposite hand and foot. Maintaining balance while moving between standing and squatting is a challenge. With more rotation in their spine, babies creep in a smoother pattern. Mara changes direction to find a space to climb up. Mara stands up directly from sitting. In the beginning, walking requires the baby's full attention, but soon they integrate walking with other activities. Holding on to a toy, Mara is doing two actions at the same time, transferring the toy hand to mouth and hand to hand. Seeing an uneven surface, Mara now focuses her attention on balancing in walking. Hands and knees locomotion is still a favorite for the next few months. Babies develop at different rates, but in the same progression. Standing alone is an invigorating experience. Mastery in standing is achieved when babies change levels easily. Walking toward her mother's open arms, Gabrielle spontaneously changes direction. She points to a new toy. Walking while holding a toy, Gabrielle stumbles and catches herself in a dynamic sidestepping response. She yields to gravity and reaches out to protect herself. Gabrielle walks into the yellow ball and it rolls. The environment provides the baby with many novel situations to try out new actions. With more control, Mara can reach her arms up over her head while walking. 12-month-olds can now combine one or two words with a gesture. Mara connects her actions, gesture, and words into a sequence of events. Mara creates a more complex game that challenges her memory. Reaching overhead, Mara lets the ball fall behind her and continues to walk forward. With a sweep of her arms, Mara says, "All gone." Because Mara performed a sequence of actions, she knows when she turns around, she will see the ball. Babies explore placing their whole body in contained spaces. The hoop creates a boundary or circle of space. James plays between being outside and inside the circle. Babies play with containers in a variety of ways. Covering her face, Mara looks into the basket. James indicates he wants to put something in the basket and creeps away. Babies can now bring something they are interested in to show or offer to adults. Mara's sheer physical exuberance propels her across the room. Mara spontaneously stops and looks back across the room. Mara integrates her perception of her exhilarating experience, how fast she traveled, how long it took, and the distance she covered. This kind of spontaneous action shapes the baby's early concepts of balance, energy, time, and space. The baby's learning experience during the first year is unique. Your baby discovers how their whole body moves and how each part of their body moves in a variety of positions in relationship to gravity. Babies learn how to coordinate their body through a variety of play experiences. They learn different ways to move through space and change body levels. Through their actions, they learn to perceive their world from different points of view. In self-motivated play, babies can create their own action plans and reach out toward their goals. In tune with themselves, these babies continue to develop their body awareness and locomotion skills, seeking novel experiences that challenge their balance and equilibrium. This amazing first year of development has prepared these babies for exciting events yet to emerge.